Hello, friends. I don't know. I'm surprised I hit record, and then I'm surprised that we're recording. But anyway, so we are here today to discuss Volume 6 of Deluxe Edition 2 in the Berserk Deluxe Edition. So we'll be discussing that, and here are some friends to discuss. And Joe is showing off his original covers. Joe, do you want to kick us off with an introduction?
Correct.
Tell us about you and your work.
Parental advisory, because no children should be reading these. I'm JC Byrne. I'm author of Wistful Ascending and numerous other things, and very casual YouTuber.
I don't know about very casual. I don't know about that.
3 videos out. The fourth one is still being edited because I've had a crazy couple weeks with my family craziness. So I've done nothing. I've accomplished almost nothing in 2 weeks except hold down my day job and keep myself in one piece. So
Sometimes that's the hardest part.
Life. Yeah.
And Dan?
That's it.
Hello, I'm Dan. I am an enjoyer of manga and enjoyer of Berserk. And it's great to discuss it here every week with you guys.
Varsha?
Hi, I am Varsha and I am also a casual YouTuber. I have a tiny channel, and most recently we discussed the manga Uzumaki with Steve and Jose from Amazing Book Worlds. No, Jose's Amazing Worlds. That's what that channel's called. Yeah.
Nice. So, this, I think we were talking a little bit before we came on, that this one was kind of a quicker read than the others. It seemed like there was some things, but not like a ton.
Yeah.
I guess we're also getting more comfortable with the characters and everything else, so we don't need to, pay as much attention to every little bit, because again, we know these characters a little bit more, we know a bit more what to expect. So,
yeah, that's true.
And it was a more normal story, right? Like I feel like these are things we've sort of seen before. Nothing in here was particularly like weird in terms of like you got the political maneuvering and you've got the battlefield scenes and this volume you wouldn't read this and go, oh my god, this is like nothing I've ever read before. It's like this is good, but it's not as like what did that even mean? You don't look at the page for 10 minutes going, what's this thing with the egghead? You don't get taken out of the story as much by that. Not taken out. That's not what I mean. You don't get put back, which isn't a criticism at all. It's just that's just what this part of the story has to be because that's what's happening. So,
yeah. I think this part is also setting up a bit more of the emotional reasons and emotional setup for the next parts. Because even though like what's happening in physically what's happening, the events that are happening are fairly standard, the emotional parts or the personality parts are interesting because it does give a bit more depth as to what's going on with these characters, what they're trying to do, what they're missing in some cases. But we'll get into discussing all of that.
So,
and Griffin needs to start having more conversations inside because I feel like every time he's on a porch talking to someone's listening at the bottom of the stairs. It's like, come on. Always at the bottom of the stairs. You got to check.
Does he want them to listen?
Casca might have been, but I don't think Guts was. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not. But it's a nice visual imagery, right? It's metaphoric of their position and a lot of other things. It's very...
Yes. Yeah, I didn't think of that. But
right, because they're down there in the he's covered in he's bruised and covered in blood or whatever or sewer, and the nobles are up there, the excellent people, the the people with dreams and right? And the normal soldiers are down there just looking in the shadow, because we're just like they're in the shadow there with the lights of the feast and everything. So it's very, fairly standard, but it's pretty nice visual and everything.
Yeah.
Doing the dirty work, literally.
Yeah.
In every sense.
Yeah.
Literally and metaphorically, simultaneously. Yeah.
And Zibby's here.
Wow.
I'm able to catch up on the live stream. Glad you can make it. Let us know how you're enjoying this volume if you're reading with us. Yeah, so there were a couple of things. I think, well, not to jump too far ahead, but seeing Griffin walk on air was interesting. Kind of seems like he just kind of walked out on the. I don't know if that was the artwork or it looked like he was walking.
What? I feel like I missed that. When did that happen?
Which part?
Or was that just the artwork that it made him look like he was?
Mhm.
Let me see if I can find it.
Was it at the gala or whatever?
It was right. Was it right after that? Or, when the I forget his name. The let me see. On that page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It looks like
I
he's
think
standing.
it's just
I'm not sure if
shadow,
that's
I
just
think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a really nice page. I really like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is
I don't think
after
Griffin's
he's
supposed to
told
have
that they're
magical
dead,
powers.
right? Sorry, Joe.
No. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just asking a question.
I don't think he's supposed to have literal magical powers at this point.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
I think he's supposed to be sort of scary and like almost like peak of human ability, but he's not flying.
Oh, okay.
I think
I
it's
thought
his
maybe he
eyes
was.
that scared the other guy. The other guy's like so focused on Griffith that the whole world around him is gone because that stare is so penetrating and frightening that it's like the world is gone. All he sees is this person saying, you mess with the wrong dude. And I think that I'm pretty sure he's not actually like flying anywhere. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the. I guess that's the main part of what's happening in these chapters, the political machinations, I guess. The assassination attempt on him, and I don't think did he know that they were going to try to assassinate? I don't think he knew. Right?
He looked all surprised when that arrow hit him.
Yeah. And it was like pure luck or destiny that he didn't die actually, right? But I don't think I think at this point none of this was really planned. Only after that it was like planned, I think. What happened.
Yeah, he does say he put some in, like he set out some people to go find out things for him so he can figure out where that arrow came from. It did feel like he guessed that the arrow was for him and not the princess, though.
Oh, he knew that once it hit him. Who's trying to kill the princess, and he knows he has enemies.
Seemed like a very risky shot, right? I mean, if you're gonna attempt to assassinate someone and you have some time, that seems like you better be pretty confident in your aim if you're gonna shoot when the princess is like right next to him.
Yeah.
Well, the guy's the best archer in the White Dragon Legion.
I think those were supposed to be like elite soldiers, right? Elite knights. So maybe it's not so risky. I'm not sure. I've never tried to shoot a crossbow. I don't know how easy it is or how precise it can be.
We met the third. Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Oh no, you're fine.
Yeah. We met the third villain in this book who gave a play-by-play of how powerful he is, and I learned this secretly from my family. Like, sure, that sounds like good conversation for the battlefield.
Yeah, like the prince was almost cartoonishly villainous I guess.
Yeah.
As far as the reasoning of why he was doing it. And I mean, I'm sure the reasoning is not like wrong, as in probably a lot of, I don't know, rich and powerful people probably think like that, but they don't say it as explicitly, really.
Yeah. It's more.
That was a bit too much. Like it was like we were literally being made to hate this guy so that we root for Griffith, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, we do root for Griffith because this guy is just like the worst, right? But it's maybe it's slightly heavy-handed. I don't know.
I agree. They don't use thought bubbles as much, right? It's all through dialogue, so some of it feels clunky. Yeah, especially whenever the villains do 2-page explanations of why they are so powerful.
Actually, well, now that I think about it, like thought bubbles or whatever, like inner monologue of characters, that's also like a bit. I don't know. It always feels a bit hard to integrate correctly in a comic, at least to me, as compared to reading a book. Because in reading a book, it's almost seamless most of the time. Well, it doesn't feel like that to me in comics, and especially in manga. It doesn't happen that often, I think, compared to just talking. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just my impression.
They use thought bubbles.
Yeah, a couple.
A few.
Usually when Griffith is alone, when Guts is alone with his sword meditating. Right? Like,
yes.
That's right.
It's not actually bubbles, but those are his thoughts, right? He's not speaking out loud, thinking stuff. So I was thinking, like, I know there's some.
Do we get thoughts from someone else, or only from Guts? Maybe he's the protagonist, and we only get the inner thoughts from him.
We hear Casca saying, I wish it were anyone but him. And I think those are her thoughts, stuff like that. Usually it's Casca being angry at Guts or Guts talking to his sword. I think it's we need the Guts school of like meditation or school of Buddhism or something where you've got to hold a 6-foot sword to have you focus on that and you can have a whole like think about it.
Did the sword get longer or like taller than Guts in this volume?
I think it just grows with him. It seems like it just gets bigger and bigger.
Every year he asks the swordsmith, "Can you add a couple of inches?" At the end.
That's too easy. Schnozhan mentions that character is meant to be comedic.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But I mean, there is some sort of like attempt of characterization of him a bit more than that with the discussion, because he's discussing with his attendant or butler or something like that after the practice training with his son. He's sort of saying, "Oh, I need to prepare him for," but it's not that much. Maybe it's more meant to make us feel worse about the son dying in the end.
Yeah.
Right. Or maybe even just as a parallel, because that was also like the thing, right? It was like showing the parallel of Guts with his adoptive father and the kid that got killed with his father, which was fairly similar relationship in the end. Well, a bit abusive. Maybe there's some good in it, but it was quite abusive.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
So
Guts
you
had
gotta
a
feel for the
flashback.
kids.
Yeah. Guts had a flashback to Gambino in that scene. Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, he was asked to do it quietly and subtly, and then he went on a rampage, killed everyone around him. And then I am curious what he came to say to Griffith, because I don't think, hey boss, look, I did what you said. He looked almost angry, like he wanted to confront him about making him do this. But yeah, but then we cut off to the battle after that, right? We don't know if he ever had that conversation or if he will later.
Kind of wondered if Guts felt like he's being used, or he was, So that's kind of what I had thought of as, he's out doing this. He's killing all these people and doing all this for Griffin, and Griffin's out, rubbing elbows with royalty and
Mm-hmm.
flirting with the princess. Is kind of the way I took it, but I might be wrong.
But it's weird because it's just after Guts sort of came to this like epiphany that I'm gonna live my life for this other dude. And then the very next page, there's the other dude saying, "I need you to do this," and he's like, "I'm there for it." He says, "Just order me already."
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes and he does it, and then it's like, "What are you gonna do now? You're gonna whine about it?" That doesn't seem very gutsy to have
Yeah.
made this decision, to have been so certain, and then you go and just because you got to kill a kid, you're gonna complain. I feel like he was just gonna go and say like it's done, and maybe he was a little shell shocked because of having to kill the kid. But I can't imagine he would be like, "It was wrong. You shouldn't have sent me," because he was so certain. Just order me already. You know, I'm good for it. You know, maybe he was regretting it, but he wasn't going to say it to Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
And he hears the speech. You know, the whole like, "You're not really. These aren't my friends. These are my tools. My friends would have to be my equal. They would have to have a dream equally as large for which they would betray me." And Guts is like, "Oh yeah, that's what I'm. That's what I've signed up for."
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has not signed up to be Griffith's peer. He signed up to be Griffith's tool.
Pawn.
Yeah.
Schnau is kind of what I was thinking too. Killing the kid triggers his trauma, and he has those flashbacks and kind of brings out these feelings that maybe he hasn't dealt with, or kind of, he hasn't processed yet. Guts has a vision where he imagines himself as the Zod or the abuser.
Yeah.
He just killed a kid just like he was.
Yeah, it was him basically. You're right.
Yeah, like what you said, Joe. I think before this volume, he was thinking he would be like the friend of Griffith, and he would be sort of equal friends or whatever. He would support him as an equal, that sort of thing. Like maybe like best as a general and stuff like that, but we are like their personal relationship is something more of an equal, more of friendship. But then he realizes, like you said, that Griffith doesn't see him as a friend or anyone equal, right? So then he sort of gets his answer. That seems to me like.
Did Griffith know he was down there listening when he gave the whole speech about friends?
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
Don't think so.
Well, we don't know. At least we don't have reason to think that Griffith knew he was there. But part of me thinks that Griffith did, and Griffith wants a friend, but will settle for a tool, and that's why he rescued Guts and kept him there. He's kind of desires a peer, but he doesn't know how to make a peer. He only knows how to create tools. So it's like, all right, if you're not going to be my peer, you'll be my tool, and I'll keep using you. But I kind of hope you transcend that at some point. I think he wants it. You know, he wants a friend, but I'm not sure. That's how I'm reading it for now.
There was something that Griffin mentions, and okay, so a quick detour, but who in their minds cued Barry White music like the "Oh yeah" when he saw the princess? Just me? Okay, must be just me. All right, never mind. But Griffin, when he's confiding in the princess, he does mention a life spent as a martyr to the god named Dream. Is that just Dream? Is there a god named Dream, or is that just his obsession?
I think he meant his obsession.
Yeah.
That's how I took it.
Yeah. He's saying that like pretty much the only life worth living is the one where you're just sacrificing everything to achieve your dream, right? And he doesn't respect anyone which doesn't have a dream, which is he's willing to, give up his life to achieve that dream, right? And that is interesting compared to Guts, because up until now, we don't know what Guts wants. Does Guts want anything? He's always reacted to something that happens to him, right?
I mean, not only we don't know, Guts very clearly doesn't know and is often wondering while holding his sword up in the air on a rooftop. Like that's his shtick, right? He's always like, "What do I really want? What's my dream? Like, I'll be subservient to his dream for now because that's all I've got." He doesn't know what he wants. He's just looking to like fight the next battle. It's funny because he's got this huge drive, which is just to survive. He's not even particularly like caring about the money, or he's just getting battle after battle. There's no aim for it, which I guess Griffith will give him. by branding him and taking off his hand and his eye or whatever happens. We know someone gives him the drive, right? Someone gives him the desire for revenge that we see in that first. I'm not giving away the future. I'm saying because we've seen it in the first volume. There he's got a purpose. He's after stuff. When we first met Guts, it's just now that he's earlier in his life that he doesn't know what he wants.
And usually it's the hero that has the dream. It's the hero that wants, I will change this world, make it better, or I will achieve the thing that I need to achieve, right? But here it's the opposite. It's like it's Griffith the one with the dream. Guts is just living his world, sort of.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what the story of Berserk is. It's just trying to figure out what his dream is.
Just a boy finding himself.
Yeah. Well, maybe what he wants is sort of, maybe he just wants a friend, someone to, some affection, something. I don't know, because that's what we've seen. He's been like what he wanted from his father, what he's been looking for, what he tried to deny he doesn't want, right? I don't know if that's a dream or more something like he just hopes at some point in life it will happen.
When Guts decides I'm gonna wield my sword for him, it's because he keeps having flashbacks to when Griffith said, why can't I just want to save you, or whatever it was that he said. So it's because he thinks, I think, that Griffith cares for him enough to put himself in danger to save him, and like, if not as an equal, at least as someone he cares for. But that conversation that he overheard effectively said, like, I don't care. I these are all very disposable people to me. So I wonder what that did to him. He can't still want to, or maybe he might either try and change his mind and try to prove to him that I am your equal, or he might say, no, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't know which way it's going to go.
And Schnaz commented, meaning and purpose is one of the biggest themes of the series. And Zibby, as we move forward with the story, you'll know more about Griffin's obsession with power and influence. Guts seeks meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what does Griffith want to do with his power, right? Like, power is usually just a tool to achieve something, right? We don't know what we don't know what he wants, really. I think some of the people that follow him, like Casca, for example, from what we see, like, they follow him because they think he wants to make the world a better place, where nobles are not abusing people and commoners can become important, and right, because that's what one of the other things is like, because he's a commoner, right? So maybe they see him as like, if he can become powerful and strong and make things better, maybe we all can, and we're not just subservient to these shitty nobles.
But if they think that, they're not saying it. Like, that's a jump. I don't see them saying that. I don't think Casca thinks he's going to achieve like a socialist paradise. I don't think she has the tools to conceive of that. They're just trying to get to where they're the nobles and commoners. Like, I want to be on the other end of that stick if I can get there. Like, as far as what they're verbalizing, they just don't want to be at the bottom of the heap. They don't want to get rid of the heap. I don't think they would have any way to. I don't think they'd have any tools to conceptualize a world where there isn't a heap. There isn't nobles and commoners. They just want to be the nobles for a change, and that's why Crocus is it who's like, don't ruin this. We're getting a leg up. We're going to be the boot and not the booty. No, that's insane. I'll figure out a better way to phrase that later. But they see, Griffith, he's their ticket to that, like, and that's how I saw it.
Yeah,
we'll see. Maybe they have further dreams, but Griffith never really hints that he wants more than a kingdom. I mean, if he wants more than a kingdom or than a very big kingdom, a bigger, we're not getting much. He's not saying it.
Yeah.
So
Up to now, we don't. Yeah.
Didn't he say in the
Don't know anything
last
more on that.
volume? Sorry, didn't he say in the last volume that he wants the world? And did we interpret that as just the kingdom, or?
Yeah, he does say something like. I think I have the page tab. I'll try and find it.
he might have meant more, but I just feel like he wants to conquer the world. He wants to be Alexander the Great.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
he's not thinking of, I want to create a socialist paradise or I want magic powers. I don't think, as
Yeah.
far as I can tell, we're not seeing that any signs that that's what he means.
Oh yeah,
You know?
I think he
Well,
just
what
wants to be
happened-
the. Sorry, go ahead.
So, it's like, I mean, we don't know what would have happened if not for the egg of the king. If he had just been a very motivated dude who got like a huge kingdom, maybe he would have said, 10 years later, 40-year-old Griffith would be like, well, what else is there? We don't know that story. We don't get to see that play out. Because,
But we definitely know, I think, that he's not going to be, because I think he was like, he was going to become a noble, but I think we definitely know he said or something like that he wasn't like happy with just being a noble. He wants more than that.
Yeah, I don't know. He wants to be top dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on page. If you're on the deluxe edition, it's page 295. But he talks about the Bailet. It says also called the egg of the king. You see, it said that whoever possesses this is destined to obtain the world in exchange for his own flesh and blood. So.
Yeah, I think he wants world domination and unlimited/unmitigated power. I don't think he has any higher level motives than that.
That sounds like a lot of trouble. I don't know. I'm good.
Making all the decisions.
For Casca, I think the impression I got was that she's just very grateful to him for having saved her, but I don't think she thinks of him as someone who goes around is generally saving people. I think, or I don't know if we've seen him do any other heroic things in this book.
No,
I
I
even
don't
really
think so.
He gave her a sword and said, "Save yourself."
Yeah.
It's very poignant.
I think it's in a sort of like, not like he's gonna save people, but he's gonna show that it is possible and sort of guide by example, which is sort of what he did there. Like, he didn't save her; he gave her the sword. It's like, save yourself, sort of, if you want, if your drive is strong enough, right? Because that's the whole thing with him. It's like, is your drive strong enough to be with him? Like, that's his whole motivation. Like, otherwise, it's like, oh, you're not a useful tool, or you're not a friend, right? If you don't have enough drive, right?
And everyone in the sorry, go ahead. Everyone in the band looked much older than Casca when she joins up with them, and I think I also misunderstood that there were other women besides Casca in the band. I think some of the men just had ponytails. If they were complaining so much about letting her tag along. So.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder. I'm gonna test this as I read, but my hypothesis, and I'm not sure about this. My hypothesis is that Griffith will use people as tools, but he's looking for a friend, and he thought Casca might be his friend. The years of like slavish devotion made him realize she's not going to be his friend in his sense of the word friend. She's just going to be a tool he can use, and a valuable one, but that's it. And then he tested it out on Guts. Says, "Are you going to be my friend?" And Guts doing everything he asks for and not complaining is actually not going to make Guts his friend. So you're also a useful tool. Let's see if I can be like, it's like he wants. I'm going to say I think he actually does want a peer. He's just not finding them, and he's giving people a chance. Like, are you going to be my peer? No, okay, I'll try again. The next dude with a giant sword comes along.
If he does have a peer, do you think he will be threatened by them, or do you think he will try for world domination together? What kind of character do you think Griffith is in that regard?
And have world domination together. You don't have a partner in world domination, right? You don't have two tyrants. You have to be the tyrant, but you can enjoy the struggle.
Yeah.
So maybe they have a different dream, right? The dream doesn't have to be all the dreams don't have to be world domination.
I think it's a little smaller.
You could have
scale.
a friend who wanted to be like the greatest artist in the world or something, and like you could have that dude hang out. You don't have to. There's no conflict there, I think. So, just doesn't hang out with pinup painters is the problem.
Heather had a question. Who would be Griffin's equal? Because he talks about his friends have to be his equal, but who would be his equal? I mean, he's pretty powerful.
No one he's found.
Yeah.
No one he's found yet, but I think in his mind, Guts may turn out to be that person, but Guts is not showing enough initiative.
Is because of
Right,
Guts's where what he deems important. It doesn't seem like they have the same goals. I think
Guts doesn't have
Guts is
goals,
thinking,
right?
yeah, he's
Like if Guts had a goal that was equal to Griffin's, even if it was different, right? Then he might be his friend, right? You have your thing, I have my thing. You're my peer, but Guts isn't showing him that. Guts is just So Griffin keeps saving him, like, all right, I'm gonna save your life. You're gonna show some aims now. Nope. Still my tool. Okay, you're a valuable tool. That's great. I'll send you valuable tool. Go kill this dude. I don't want around. Valuable tool. Like if you imagine this like subtext in his mind, it kind of fits. I'm not saying this is exactly what the only way to read the story, but that this is just my hypothesis.
I wonder if Griffith thought when he sent Guts to kill the noble, because to me it doesn't he doesn't look like the right person for that job, like a stealthy assassin, right? So I'm wondering if he just sent him there because he knew it would be difficult, he knew he would fuck up or something, and maybe he's like he wants Guts to know that he's being treated badly so that he gets mad and realizes it, and maybe it's something else. I don't know. Because again, he doesn't look like the right person for this job.
You may be right, but I was also thinking he wanted a massacre in that house. He didn't want to clean.
Maybe.
Because he said that before, right? I remember when there was some battle and Guts ran off and did his own thing, and Casca yelled at him, and Griffith came back and said, I planned for him to not follow orders. That was part of my plan all along, was that he would run off and do his own thing, and that I accounted for that. So once he said that like 2 volumes ago, I always feel like that's his thing. He knew it would turn into a massacre, and he wanted everyone scared in a way that like a clean assassination wouldn't scare people. He wanted like the whole house taken out, and he got. But he may have also wanted Guts to have like his face like kind of pushed into the "you are just being a tool." Let's see if maybe that wakes you up. Like I didn't think of that, but I think that's a really interesting way of looking at the plan. That also was what he wanted. I like that.
Discreet and Guts don't really go together, right? He's not very just his sword alone. It's like you notice it. It's not very stealthy.
I with an 8-foot sword. I don't know who it could have been.
And he went to do the assassination with the sword. I thought he'd pick a different weapon, but no, he went in with the sword, the very recognizable weapon.
His best friend,
I can imagine it like dragging on the ground as he's walking because it's so long. I mean, you have to have it way up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that means that if anyone sees him, he has to kill them because there's no, ambiguity as to who it is. It's a good point. Yeah.
But he's okay with that, so it evens out.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta kill everybody. Okay, it's like, well.
I don't think he was okay. I think he realized that he was killing random innocent people, sort of. Right? It's not like, sure, he's fine with a noble, but I don't think he was fine to killing all those guards and everyone else. I think he looks more like panic. It's like, oh shit, I need to do it. Otherwise, everything's ruined, right?
Because my clever disguise of just a hood pulled halfway down my face has been ruined. I can't believe they saw through it. Like,
oh no.
And he did sort of disobey orders in that, like, don't be seen, no one should find out it was you. But he went into the gutter, people saw he went into the gutter, and then he came back with being wet and probably disgusting, and he's standing there at the bottom of the castle clear for everyone to see that he was the one who committed the crime, right? And so, like, yeah, if Griffith saw him there and knew he was there when he was talking to the princess, he has to know that he wasn't being fully obeyed. And yeah, I'm really interested to know what Guts wanted to say to Griffith at that point.
Schnauzhand, Guts only feels guilty when he hurts a child. So that's what bothered him most, right? Is the, and after that, it's like, okay, it's all bets are off and no witnesses and mow through lots of nameless guards. What was the body count, by the way? He seems like he went through a lot of people.
Yeah.
You'd also assume that, okay, if one person did this, someone has to be pretty elite to kill this many guards, and so it narrows down the focus a little bit, right? Because there's only so many people who can pull it off. And also, they call it a robbery, which I thought that was kind of peculiar too, because I don't know. I mean,
because he didn't take anything.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean,
that's suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He always keeps when he does it, even in the first arc. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, I think like Griffith wants everyone to know that Guts did it, but without any concrete evidence that he did.
Well, that's
because he wants people, right? Yeah, to not cross
worried about me because I've got a guy who'll come and kill everyone in your house, and you can't prove a thing, but you know, right? That's the perfect thing. That's the perfect outcome for Griffith. Maybe not for Guts, but
I suppose he's indirectly protected through Griffith. If Griffith is untouchable, then Guts is untouchable by extension.
As long as there's no evidence.
Yeah, I'm sure Griffith was like, if Guts comes in the way of his plan, he's like, well, I guess you have to be sacrificed. So, and I think Guts realizes too at this point after that conversation. He's like, oh, before maybe he would have protected me before, but now he realizes that no, if that's not his plan, you're gone.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think we get an exact body count because the art's a little vague, but he killed at least 4 guards. But the implication is he's going downstairs and he could have killed more on the way. It's at least 4 guards, the general and his kid. I kept staring at these images of Gambino, trying to read the expression on his face to see what in Guts's memory Gambino's like attitude is, and I can't figure it out. He's got this.
Some of them always looked happy. Almost a couple of them looked like he was smiling at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That face, I don't know what to make of that. Is that this kid just reminds me of me a little bit, or is he trying to say like that's I don't know. I couldn't figure it out.
Zibby commented, Griffin likes a person with ambition, particularly someone aligned to his goal. Someone he can't control and can be useful interests him. He tried his best to get Guts on his side the first time.
Yeah. I don't know, though. As far as Gambino's pictures, it sort of looked to me like he was happy, sort of, as in he doesn't think of him as an abuser, really. Guts. He still thinks of him as his father. That's my interpretation, because he internalized his abuse, and he's blaming more himself for what he did to make him do that to him, right? Because that's what a lot of abusers think of it, like, oh, it's not his fault. I made him do it, right? It's my fault. And it's that whole trauma that's coming back, which is really interesting to me. I don't remember if there's ever a resolution to his trauma, but yeah.
Schnauz agrees. Hey, Austin. Glad you can make it by. Golden Age is so good. I think we're past Golden Age, right? We're just past? Or are we still in the arc?
Whole Golden Age. This is all the Golden Age arc.
Got it.
Until something happens.
Yeah, I was looking up how long Golden Age goes, and it said volume 18, but then in the last deluxe volume, we started seeing different names for the chapters instead of the Golden Age. So I wasn't sure, but...
maybe it's sub-arcs. I think the Golden Age should be all the flashback, I believe.
Makes sense.
As far as I remember. I might be wrong.
But the chapters within the Golden Age have their own names, like Master of the Sword, Assassin, thing. So they're not all called Golden Age. Casca Chapter 1, Casca Chapter 2. Yes, once. Now, what I'm trying to figure out is like, is this like an alternate world where when women have their period, they become completely incapacitated and feverish? Does Kentaro Miura just not know not know any women? Like I've seen it before, and I'm like, where is this? I'm always confused.
Well, it does depend, though. And there's some people which get really bad cramps and can become even almost debilitated. I would think like now you have access to a lot of medicine that you can remove some of the pain. But in medieval times, if you're one of those women that get like really bad cramps, I can really imagine that being debilitating, especially if you're fighting in a battle, right? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a woman, so I can't talk for it. But from what I've been told, I don't think it's unrealistic.
That makes sense, but my gripe with that was, how did she, like, if she knows that that's how incapacitated she will get, and it happens frequently enough that why wouldn't you do something to get yourself out of the battle or do something different? That felt a little strange to me.
I think that's on purpose, really, because when we get to the whole explanation of everything after and what we know of Casca, she doesn't want her womanhood to limit her, right? She's doing everything to say, I'm a woman, but that doesn't mean I'm inferior to you. It doesn't mean I can't fight, right? I'm just as strong as all of you. I'm stronger than all of you, right? So if she suddenly says, I can't fight here, it's a bad period for me, then that would, even in her mind, that would lose all her credibility. Because even after in this chapter, she says, what was it? I didn't choose to be born as a woman or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I think that fits, I think.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But I guess we get more characterization of, we get more explanation of who Casca is, why she joined Griffith, and, also what her goals are, I guess.
And maybe they can both finally start being friends. It feels like we're heading that way, maybe. I don't know, I kind of want them to be friends. Do you think they will discuss that conversation? I don't know how Casca feels about what she heard. Is it something that she already knew, that she's just a tool for Griffith, or hearing this, she'll want to be a different kind of companion to Griffith? I'm curious about that.
See, when she sees Griffith with Charlotte, I don't read her face as being upset. I see her as almost, oh, good, he's making headway. Like, I think she's truly, like, sees herself as, like, her goal is to support his dream, not to be there at his side for it. Right? I don't think she thinks of herself that way. Maybe because she's the way she came up, but she almost worships him. She just wants him to get what he wants, and she wants to help. She wants to be she wants recognition. She wants him to acknowledge you helped, but I don't think she necessarily sees herself as having more ambition than that, being a piece of it. So I think if he's gonna get in with Charlotte, I think she's like, oh, good. How can I help? Thumbs up. That's how I read that chapter. And
interesting.
I think she's okay with that. I'm not sure Guts is. I think Guts is going to have second thoughts.
I do think, though, there might be, some, I don't know if maybe she doesn't even realize it or something, but like what she feels for Griffith is like, there's definitely for sure admiration, wants to support, affection. Maybe there is a bit of love, like we don't know. I think there is a little bit of all of these, and they're all mixed together, so it makes it hard for her to realize what she thinks about him, but she idolizes him. That's the main thing, which makes everything more complicated, I think. But yeah, I think she's willing. Like, if she heard that she's just a tool, she's like, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna be the tool that you need.
I'm gonna be the best damn tool in your toolbox.
Yes.
And Schnoz agrees, Joe. Yeah, you're right.
Nice. We need like schnoz points every time we get a schnoz score. You do a shot. No.
That's a good idea. Yeah. That might get bad. Midday on a Sunday. Let's do it. Yeah.
No.
And Guts also returns the favor to, well, I guess it wasn't really a favor when Cassia did it for him, but he saves her from. Yeah, I'm not sure why he had to take her clothes off to. Was it skin to skin contact? Is that what that was about?
She was wet and freezing, right? Because they had gone through the river, so we had to strip her down and dry her clothes off, and then keep her warm with body heat. Which is my excuse every time I need to get a woman naked. I just find a way to fall into a river somewhere. And I go, We need to like create like a dating manual by Guts, right? Like, how to attract women by Guts, you know. First, get a bigger sword, you know.
Yeah, kill her assailant and then throw her in a river.
Yeah.
They're really wet, so you have to warm her body.
So I don't know how to swim. So how realistic was that scene where he saved her and himself in armor? They were both in armor.
It was no less realistic than half the other stuff Guts does.
Yeah.
Just swinging that sword makes no physical sense. Like, you're just, human wrists can't do that. So it was also unrealistic, but I don't think it was crazier than other stuff like that he's pulled off. You know?
Yeah.
You'd probably just sink, right? Wearing that armor. I mean,
Probably. I mean, even with just like heavy clothes, you're already at risk, I would think. Plus on top with the old armor.
Yeah.
he always finds a way to include a naked body on every volume.
Fair enough, yeah.
Finding that, yeah.
I've seen worse goals to have. You know, if I was an artist, I'm sure I'd do the same thing. You know, if I could draw.
He could be Griffith's friend because he has his own dream.
He has a dream. My dream involves exposed breasts. Not conquering the
It kind of, I would imagine that they're probably used to being around each other without, I mean, because they're on the, they're in this army, and you probably lose all that, after a while, it's not like a huge deal seeing each other like that. So I would imagine that they probably see each other without clothes on fairly often, just being in camps.
They don't have porta potties.
Yeah.
They don't have porta, right? They don't have like showers where you can,
Yeah.
If you're bathing, you're just jumping in a stream or something. So yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
You probably lose some of that sense of privacy.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she wakes up thinking Guts is trying to molest her, which he's of course not. But
I would, think Guts
I find
is
it
pretty.
interesting that I keep looking for signs that Guts has some kind of interest in sex or sexuality, and there's really very little. Like, you never see like a scene where he and the guys are like in between missions going to a brothel, right? That doesn't happen. As far as we can tell, he's all he cares about is like the next battle. I find that kind of. I wouldn't be like, if someone else was drawing this series, I'd expect a brothel interlude chapter or like just 2-page spread, or something where they go off but sorry, spread. I know. That's not what I meant, Steve.
I wonder if it would have. Well, I don't know, because I'm trying to think where it was published, right? Because where was this? It was in
80 something in late 80s.
no,
Or was
but
it
in
early
what
90s?
sort of what magazine this was
Oh.
being published at the time? Because this probably this is this is a seinen, so it was probably aimed at adolescent boys going up. So maybe he wanted to put some of that, but the publisher was like, maybe cut that.
He put some stuff in there.
He
Thinking what
does.
happens on the page. You've read the rest.
Yes, I think it's. I don't know. I think it's different.
This was not Shonen Jump. This was not Shonen Jump. This was for older kids.
Yes, but what I'm thinking is like showing it for shock value or for plot purposes, even if it's misguided. Maybe it's not the right thing to it. I think it might be different than putting it for just, oh, this random guy goes to have sex, right? I don't know. In my mind, it might be interpreted differently from a publisher standpoint. I don't know, but that's just my speculation. This is not the truth. I'm just speculating that might be one of the reasons. But
no, but this wasn't written for Dark Horse. This was written for like Young Jump. I think it was Young Jump.
Yeah,
you should be able to figure this out. Young Animal. Yeah. It was something like that.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. And also, I thought it was peculiar that Guts forgoes his desire to not be touched when he saves her because they're skin to skin, and he doesn't. He kind of maybe because she was unconscious, he was saving her, but so that kind of made me curious.
Yeah,
that's right. He's definitely still being portrayed as a traumatized human being. Like all this battle stuff has not fixed his.
Yeah.
That explains the lack of not wanting to go to a brothel, right? If he doesn't want to be touched by anyone, well, that's not going to work.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know.
But yeah, I don't know. Something else I'm also thinking about now is like, in general, I think sexuality and sexual exploration in manga is not portrayed in a very good way. Like it's either completely debauched or it's completely pure. There's very little of the balanced normal relationship. And most of the times that I've read that was in manga aimed at adult women, and not in really many mangas aimed at men or young women or anything like that. Usually it's just way too pure, everything sexual is bad, or it's like rape or whatever, it's completely terrible. I don't think there's too much in the middle. That's my impression. I think it might be wrong. But yeah. So I don't know. It's also, I guess, a different culture. So I can't speak too much of Japanese culture and what their approach is to all this sort of stuff.
Well, there's stuff in manga that would never make it here.
Yes.
That's just like some head scratchers. But unfortunately, when I started reading this stuff, you read everything you get your hands on because like there was just hardly any of it available. Like late 80s, you were watching, nothing was even subtitled or dubbed in terms of like anime. So we read and watched things that were not suited for human consumption. I'm like, oh my God. But now we have choices. It's a better world. So, yeah. Cool. So we have another egg-headed guy.
Yes.
I guess. Yes.
And I'm like, wait, are you the same egg-headed guy we've seen 2 other times? Are you connected somehow? Or is just being egg-headed like a sign that you're a bad person? I don't know. He's a bad person. And I'm trying to figure out, he's not the same dude that Guts met in like chapter 2, right? The egg-headed guy who was a demon or something. It's a different dude. Okay, that's what I thought. I was too lazy to like go back and look up the name. But
did we ever find out that guy's name? I thought we just know of him as the Count.
Yeah, I think it's the Count. The
He also
Count,
didn't
I forget
recognize
his name.
Guts. He didn't actually know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You love him, but
It
you didn't
seems-
know him. You have to yeah. So it must be a different
Yeah.
guy.
Seems like the egghead people are like schemers.
Yeah. Based on how Griffith looked at him at the end of that conversation, I don't think he's gonna live until for us to meet him again.
No, not too much longer.
No, but
Maybe
he
he's
will as
smart
long
and
as Griffith.
doesn't. Yeah, go ahead.
I just think as long as Griffith can use him, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the pattern right now. He's not scared of this dude. He's like, I'm going to use you, or you'll get dead. You know, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the trident dude.
We were talking last week about how whoever gives Griffith the kingdom would be really foolish to do so, but looks like he doesn't have to be gifted a kingdom. He's just going to marry into with the princess.
Yeah. And I can imagine the story from the princess perspective. Let's say we're looking at it from the other side. It's like, oh, it's your sheltered princess meets this young, noble mercenary, but that seems even more noble in heart than the nobles, which are all scheming, right?
Mhm.
And you can easily see why she's being, how do I say, conned, I guess.
Yeah. I guess it helps that he's apparently a looker because he shines.
All the maidservants, like he's prettier than we are. You know?
Yeah.
That's a type.
Yeah.
Well, compared to all the other guys that we've seen, yeah. I don't think
Piggies
any
are
of them
kinda
is
slim.
really very good looking.
Yeah. That's many options.
Yeah.
Right.
I was trying to think of
No,
anything
that's
else in
later
this volume.
It really was more straightforward.
Yeah.
Like we had the two big conversations where Griffith is talking about what a true friend is. That's like, I feel, the big turning point here, where Guts has decided to be a better tool, and he hears that and he goes, wait, maybe that wasn't the right call. Immediately goes out and has to kill a kid. And then is like shell shocked after that. And before that gets resolved, he has to get, he falls off a cliff with Casca. And now we get to see what happens with him and Casca.
Yeah.
And I feel like I know what's happening in the next chapter, but in the next volume, but I'm not sure I remember it right. I have not read ahead, so I haven't read volume 7 since. There's a lot of Casca naked in here.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
It's a manga in general, I guess.
Yeah. And he didn't have to fuzz out her parts.
Yeah.
Right, she's more anatomically correct. Maybe that's why she doesn't turn evil ever, or does she? Less evil, right? I have my
We don't
genitals.
know.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what happens to Casca because we haven't seen her before a flashback. So maybe she does turn evil, right?
He even mentioned, I can't remember. I think
I
we see an image
don't
of her like
think so.
in memories, but maybe that would be the most. No, I think you're right. I think you're right. She's not mentioned.
I don't think we've seen with any of the people that we've met in the Golden Age, apart from Griffith, is mentioned. I think.
I think you're right.
So we don't know what happens to them.
Yeah, we basically they don't. The only hint we get of Guts' past is when he meets Griffith, now turned Femto, and that's about it. I don't think they mention anyone else.
Yeah. So I wonder, will Casca follow Griffith into whatever he's gonna do?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe.
It'd be hard to see her not doing it, like giving her slavish devotion,
Yeah.
And then I think this is really funny when we get. Can you guys see that? Like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can't. The left-right thing is the every once in a while, like he sticks in one of these like very typical manga stupid faces.
Yeah.
And it's so inconsistent with the style and almost everything else. And I'm like, what? Oh yeah, that's like. And It always throws me one of those like dumb, because there's many manga where this is very common for men to make that kind of facial expression, but not this one. And then every 3 or 4 volumes, something will happen, and Guts will make the stupid face. I'm like, what do you? Oh yeah, it's very idiosyncratic for this story. That made me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit, does it?
No, but it's so yeah. I almost wonder if he's like trying to throw a bone, like make something comedic for some part of his audience, or if it's just doesn't know what else to do there. I don't know. I would prefer it not have that, or even more or less. But not my. So.
Beautiful
so he's
artwork,
climbing
though.
the ranks. Oh my god, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I still love all the horses. This way.
The horse with the armor is like, and I'm not a big fan of medieval armor, like plate style, but he makes it look so good. Like the trident wielding dude. The anime took that whole like, oh, we've been doing this in my family for 140 years, and they made like many more iterations of a character like that. I don't know if it's the same character or not, but because they had to pad out this is the original anime from like the 90s. They wanted to pad out the episode count for the Ghost. So it was basically the whole season was this arc. This didn't go past that. So they had to pad it with like more battles, and they had like met a guy in 7 generations, whatever. But they kind of made fun of that whole speech he gives, and extended it into more scenes. It was good. I gotta find that and watch it. I have to find that, and then I have to find a DVD player. I don't think I own one.
Not anymore. Yeah, but yeah, I just very quickly now opened up like the second issue, and then I opened up one of these, and I'm looking at the art, and there's a big difference already in just like 5 or 6 volumes as to like it's way more consistent, and it just I don't know, it looks nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's brilliant.
And our friend Rachel's here. Hello. Hope you're having a splendid day. Hope you're having a good day too, Rachel. Thanks for coming by. Oh, cool. Anything else you guys can think of? I love these editions. They're so great. They're so awesome.
Yeah.
So nice.
Even if we said this was a straightforward chapter, we still had enough to talk for like an hour.
Yeah.
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 Which is good.
Yeah. Yeah, it did seem pretty. Yeah, it did seem. I was kind of wondering, like, what are we going to talk about? But we always find something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Or someone spots something I didn't think about, and like, oh, it's true actually. I didn't think about that.
That's good stuff.
Well, cool. So next week will be chapter volume 8. No, sorry, 7. Jeez.
7.
7, and we'll be in. If you're following along with the deluxe editions, it'll be Deluxe Edition 3, starting next week. Or if you're cool like Joe, you have all the originals and you don't care.
You mispronounced old.
if you're an OG like Joe. There you go.
Well, if you were the original, you would have the magazine with the single chapter on each one.
I'm original otaku.
Yes.
Original otaku, yeah. That I am. I'll take that title. Yeah.
So
and I have the link to that missing chapter when we get to volume 12. So I have that on I have the tab open at all times now. So when we need it, I can break that.
a few weeks away.
Yeah. I'm so excited. The missing chapter, I was so cool when I found that the first time because I read it. I just read it whatever was out. I didn't know, and I was like, oh, "It's a missing chapter." This is early days of the internet. It's very exciting.
Nice. So before we go, Joe, can you tell everyone where to find you and where to find your work?
jcmburn.com is my website. I'm on go to Go to Amazon, look for JC and Byrne. You can find all my books for sale. You should buy and read them, and then rate them and leave reviews. And I have a YouTube channel. I don't know how to find it. JC and Byrne, I guess. I think that's what it's called. And I have 3 videos out. You should watch all 3. And I have a 4th one on my phone that I need to edit and release about hard and soft magic systems. That's my next video.
Nice.
More philosophy of genre fiction. That's basically what I do. I don't know if anyone cares, but that's what I like to talk about. So
really great stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I don't rate books because I know all the writers, so I can't. I can't like read the book. I can't do it. So you won't see book reviews from me. It'll be other stuff. So change your pace. That's it.
And Dan?
Yeah, if anyone wants to get in touch with me, you can find me at the Page Chewing forums at the Endfire17. And I will probably respond to you if it's a good message or something.
And Varsha?
I have a YouTube channel called Reading by the Rainy Mountain, and if you want more direct ways to reach me, the About page has some info.
That was easy, right? I should do that. I don't know. I don't do that. So thanks everyone for coming by, and we'll see everyone next week for Volume 7, Deluxe Edition. Until then, we'll have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you all soon.
Bye, guys.